So there is a certain phenomenon which I have seen all too well, but to the undiscerning eye can be very, well, potentially seriously fucking taxing on your mind. And what is this phenomenon I'm referencing? Well, I'm talking about the leanness effect. And the leanness effect is pretty freaking strong. I'd put it right up there with fucking electromagnetic, gravitational. I'm talking goddamn nuclear here. So, what the leanness effect is and how it's going to have a role in working out and potentially the way that you look when you're working out is it's kind of an inverse sort of property. Where in a bulking and a dieting context, the bigger you get, bulking wise, at least to a degree, like when you're flexing, whatever else, it's almost shrinking you. You know, because you got to remember the whole nature of bodybuilding and muscle, whatever else, and getting bigger. It's not purely size. You know, it's having a large fucking wide lat spread and like big arms and everything else. But that's being countered with smaller joints, right? A smaller waist, you know? So when you start to pack on a little bit of extra body fat, and I'm not talking like a crazy amount, but, you know, to go from 8% body fat to 15% body fat, if you look at photos of two dudes next to each other, even if that guy at 15% body fat has more muscle, that 8% dude is going to look way more jacked, right? So that's tough. That's what makes bulking a tough sell, because you're trying to get bigger. Like somebody who's going to start a bulk is bulking because they want to be bigger or they want to look bigger. But in a sense, it's like the bigger you get, the smaller you look. At least just kind of based on your, well, especially like in photos or whatever else, you know? So I see it a million times. Like I'll, once I'm about halfway into a bulking phase, and, you know, I put on 20, 30, like 20 or 30 pounds heavier than I was 3 months before. You know, I see it the same. It's, so I think this is the third bulk, spring bulk, winter bulk. Yeah, this is like the third bulking phase. So I've seen it twice already. You know, I start to get a little softer, and as soon as that happens, dude, Sam, you were way bigger 4 months ago, man. What happened? Are you shrinking? Not exactly. Not freaking exactly. And then the same thing's gonna happen. Like, dude, Sam, you look fucking huge, man. What's going on? Why were you so soft for a couple of months? Right? That's sort of the things I'll get to see when I'm peeled down springtime extra lean. And if you can't wrap your head around that fact, then you're in for some fucking turmoil. You know, because with anything, the ratio is pretty fucking one-sided with performance to preparation, right? So the amount of time it actually takes to get really muscular, at least beyond a point, is actually, at least for a while, it's going to supersede the amount of time that you'll actually get to be big and like impressive looking. So if you're main gaining, don't worry about it so much, because you're just going to stay the same, like 10-12% body fat the whole way around. You know, eat your protein, eat enough food to stay recovered, train hard, try to get big and strong. But in a bulking cutting phase, which eventually I think will become a necessary approach to continued muscle growth, then you got to suck it up, man. And I see it all the time. You know, dudes start a bulk and like, fuck, dude, man, I hate bulking. You know, that's where we get all the classic, like, oh, I hate doing my cardio, like cliche jokes, or let's skip legs and do arms because it's easier. No. But just a little heads up. All right. So if you're getting ready for your first bulking phase, you've been main gaining for 2 years or so, your weight gain is starting to slow down a touch. You want to see if you can notice some benefits from an extra 500 calorie surplus or so. Just keep it in mind. Do not freak out, right? When you add if it's just like, so that's where adding like social media and like posting about yourself can be very detrimental, because it's very it's not the easiest thing in the world to see like a bunch of comments that would say like, dude, Sam, what the fuck, bro, you let yourself go, you know. And well, I'm not saying for me, but like in general, like if you're getting tons of comments, like if that's your thing and you're posting stuff, it's kind of hard to stick to it. But I mean, don't worry about it. So a little transition there when it comes to looking at, like, if you start posting TikToks or whatever else, when it comes to like random hate comments, I didn't usually I don't even reference them, but I mean they're all there. YouTube has a basic filler setting or a filter setting for YouTube comments, where it's like anything that's extremely vulgar gets hidden, right? So if you're a hater and you want to make a hater comment, don't say anything too crazy, or else it actually won't go through the system. Like you can't like I don't even want to say what some of them are, but like if you're here to make a hater comment, you have to like keep it within reason, because if you say something too crazy, then it doesn't actually get shown, it gets hidden, right? Because it doesn't want any. And I'm not going to let these through because, like, dude, these are straight out of like a straight out of somebody's deepest deleted search history level kind of craziness. But if that's you, then maybe just tone it down a touch. But you got to remember, it's all on the phone, man. You shouldn't even be on your phone anyway, right? So if you're putting out some workout videos, or you're making a TikTok joke where you're like, road to, well, I don't even know. Speaking of that, I gotta start posting some TikToks too. But don't be concerned, man. Do not be freaking concerned, right? Make sure whatever you post is kind of funny or cool in your own way, and just stick to it like that. That's what I've always liked the most. But plan for arms today after a little chit chat there. Same as normal, curls, push downs. I think we're gonna go to the fair tonight. I've got the county fairs running around. I am getting a bit suspicious of the safety of some of these rides, especially now that I'm no longer just like a regular fucking patron. I may as well be like two people in one on some of these, depending on how, well, all that's to say, I don't want there to be a live leak video of me flying off a Ferris wheel because one of the, oh, what do they call them? One of the carnies didn't screw on the bolt tight enough, right? So I think I might hold off on some of those, but we might scan around and check out some of the goats and whatever else. My family's gonna get a big ass freezer, I think. So we're gonna be in the market for a certain farm animal to send to the goddamn Bay Harbor butcher. Because you gotta remember, I mean, I'm not like the most which I guess is just a dogging on me. I'm not like the most environmentally friendly person, but it does make sense, man. I mean, if you for somebody to buy a whole cow at once and then run through those steaks over the course of however long, I mean, my whole family's chowing down steaks on the regular, so I couldn't guess exactly, but easily probably gone in maybe, yeah, with all of us, probably a year or so. Because then, I mean, you gotta, how much food gets just trashed anyway that like goes bad in the store before it gets sold. So it is a bit more effective going about it in that route. But then you've got like a multiple $1,000 bill for, you know, for just part of your food. That's kind of the Costco method there, getting everything in bulk. But that's for later. We'll whenever we pull the trigger on that, we can make it a whole little video or something. But with arms, let's just pump them up, get some oh shit, I forgot the measuring tape. I guess the measuring tape is going to be next arm day, but we'll pump them up. I'm sure they're going to be inflated like a goddamn helium balloon, ready to burst. Go home and refuel, take a nap, and see what happens. So let's just get started. Not even the full stack. Literally, well, the full stack's about 100. I'm just using 80. And dude, I have been on a fucking moderate weight squeezing kick, and I'll get a lot of like, I mean, obviously, anyone that comments or critique on someone's workout routine is a nationally certified personal trainer. We all know this. But I'll see guys where it's like, you shouldn't really hold the squeeze. That's not the effective part of the set. It's that lengthened partial portion. Okay, if that were the case, then what do you want me to do? Sit here like this and just like, just do that? Come on, guys. There's a whole fucking portion of the rep which adds to that fatigue. And if I don't have a huge nasty squeeze down here, then I don't get a huge fatigue, right? Like, it's a back and forth. Like, okay, I'm really squeezing, I'm exerting force. Now I'm letting that tension off a little bit and fucking opening up all these fibers and whatever. And I know it's a bro sciencey way to say it, but there's no better way to fucking describe the feel of it. So let's go nuts, then go from there. I could foresee sitting here for a few once I find a good song. 16. Which is actually turning out to be trickier than I expected. Goddamn Discover Weekly. Okay. A few more like that. Goodness. I'll switch with some overhead stuff just because there's a certain stretch you get with an overhead movement on your long head you don't get on something like a rope. But my technique has changed. I'm no longer, and this is just like for fucking clarity's sake, but when I used to do the rope, I'd have a tendency of just like straightening my arms out sideways, and I feel like I get a lot of short head, like this sort of portion. But now I'm still spreading it, but I feel like I'm pulling it like behind me as well. So instead of just here, more like here a little. And then my fucking long heads feel it. So let's keep this up. One more. Do a little rest pause. Just take a second. Burn out 5 more. Okay. All right. Let's move on. Let's do some kind of bent over overhead. And I'm not a fucking fan of like cable at like hip height, floor height. and somehow wrenching it up over here. I mean, for me, that just sucks. But something I've seen before but never actually implemented until semi-recently, set it up at head height, right? Scoot your butt right up against the upright and then just bend over. Way more stable, still getting that overhead activation, and I don't have to worry about like accidentally falling over and suplexing myself. So full stack here is stack wise, I'm reasonably strong, but I don't think there's any need to go heavier than this. So let's just go nuts here with a different song. All right. Whoops. Okay. A few more like that. Actually, let me throw these two guys on here. 1% weight change. Yeah. Oh my God. Two more. And with these, like I said a second ago, very stretch focused. Like when I'm at that bottom, I'm not even trying to push anymore. Like I'm letting my arms completely stretch my triceps out as much as they even go until my arms are like bumping into themselves and then contracting. But this setup, I'd emulate it if I were you. But of course, I'm me, so whatever. Okay. One more. Okay. Let's finish with some freaking dips. Woof. Yeah, stretch wise, that is nasty. I gotta do this way more often. I'm missing out on that overhead stretch position because skull crushers, I don't feel like they're that fucking effective long term. I mean, I'm just gonna wreck my elbows, and I've done it before to kind of know that. But let's move on. Only like 75% of the stack here, and then let's make this well, similar style to all those. Big stretch, second squeeze, partials. We know the drill. Okay. You know what it's time for. Don't even have to say it. Triceps done. There's a fitness class in the gymnasium portion. Getting rickrolled. Not sure if that'll pick up on the mic, but whatever. So I was kind of hemming and hawing, like, do I do dumbbells? Do I do cable? Do I do easy bar? Let's go back to kind of fucking something simple. And honestly, you might just be wasting your time if you overthink it too much. Because what happens if you're like, oh, do I do the straight bar or do I do the easy bar? Just pick one. It'll be fine. But I'm going to do some seated single arm concentration curls with assisted reps. So 60 pounds, and I'm not really swinging much here. So it'll look like this. I'm getting weaker. I'm getting weaker. I'm going to get to like here. That's my cue. Pull it all the way up. Let go. I'm not strong enough to hold it, but I can resist its downward motion. Do that 5 times. Nasty. Absolutely nasty. Self-assisted reps are something which you should have in back pocket for at least the movements which you can apply it. You know, it's a little tricky with like a leg extension, but if you're doing like a single arm push down, you can help that hand with the other one, right? Little things like that. But let's make this happen. Probably do a couple and move on to something else. I think let's just sit here and do as many as I feel is fucking effective. So get ready. We're gonna be fucking camped out for a second. Okay. Oh my God. Okay, let's move on. That was a fucking solid 4 opening kind of. I mean, yeah, I'd say that's beyond failure sets, not just conventional. So I don't think much more for biceps. Pose down and roll. All right, let's do some dumbbell curls. Leaned up against the wall. No cheating, just squeezing. All right. Okay, let's pose down. I think that's all that's necessary for biceps. Holy crap. Oh, yeah. Arms complete. I'm not sure if it's like the way that I set up these shots and stuff, but the only thing I ever hear from guys where I actually run into in person is like, dude, you're way bigger than you are in the videos. So maybe I got to change something up, right? I mean, the whole point is like, I want the size to translate, you know, but whatever. Hell, maybe that's just the fucking leanness effect talking. And all I got to do is get a bit lower on the body fat percentage scale. And then it'll be a little more direct. But let's see how they're looking. What was that? I think 7 set tricep workout and a 5 set bicep workout. That's about right. I've kind of noticed I don't need so much bicep work just because I can kind of condense it so well, you know? Like after those 5 of biceps were done. But tries could take, they could take a little more damage. So we're starting to get some of that kind of back end. The only problem when I do tries and then bis is now my biceps are fully pumped, but my triceps have kind of deflated a touch. So what are you gonna do? It doesn't take away from the workout, but maybe next arm day I'll do tricep set, bicep set, back and forth the whole way, so that when I come pose down, arms are fucking completely pumped up at the end of it. There we go. All right. Oh my goodness. And then one more little lat spread for the road. Arms are starting to take over the lat spread. But of course, they are pumped right now, so to be expected. But pumped to shit, stimulated very well, in my opinion. Let's go home and eat, man. We're done. I'll tell you something, guys. There's a certain simplicity to trying to lock into just one thing and get fucking crazy good at it, or make whatever kind of gains or fucking, skill improvements, which anybody that doesn't have something like that doesn't grasp. And a really good example of that is the non-lifter has no idea the fucking feeling of fully armed, fully pumped arms, sitting in front of the mirror and busting out a fucking pose. They don't get it. They don't get it, and they don't even want to get it. They're like, why are you... We've all seen the clips. It's just... they don't understand, right? And that's where you need a little bit of a tougher mind. I'm not saying you got to be a complete fucking, stoic monk and have your entire life get completely destroyed and say to yourself, crying over this will not bring any of this back. Move forward. I'm not saying anything so crazy as that. But bits and pieces, that is good for you, right? I mean, if you're so concerned with, making sure that you're doing everything exactly to par that everybody else does, and what the... That guy wasn't even texted. He just totally fucking brake checked somebody else. Jeez. Chump. But what I mean is, what am I going to say? Yeah, if you're going about your day, or whatever kind of things that you want to get into, or just, how you walk and how you talk and who you, your opinions and everything else, if all you're concerned with is okay, what are other people going to think about this? Then it's like you're not even living your own life. Not even you're not living your own life. And that's where, if you're really concerned with getting someone else's approval or just trying to get a certain edge on whatever, it's just a waste of time, I feel. And, sure, there's guys that make fucking crazy gains where they're like, dude, fuck, man. Classic fucking 2000s jock movie, the nerd gets his girlfriend taken from him or something, or he gets, smashed into a locker. And he's like, I'll get back at them. Whatever. That sort of style motivation. As a short period of time sort of thing, that's actually not bad. That's completely fucking fine. And if anything, it's kind of a classic situation, right? At points of intense fucking fluctuations of emotion are where you can be very malleable in potentially changing how you go about things and how dedicated you are to things. Every so often when you're working out, you should have a little bit of a kind of reflection and say, okay, have I even really been training that hard? Or you have maybe a scrappier lift and you're like, dude, I didn't even bring it. What the fuck is wrong with me here? And then you kind of raise the bar for yourself, Or it's like I can't really think of a separate example. I don't know. I'm sure you've had something, a very fucking intense period of time where you're really feeling it and you're like, dude, fuck, I gotta change something here. That's kind of one of the most likely situations where shit actually changes, right? Because you actually have a fluctuation in how you feel about potentially yourself and how hard you're going and like the effort you're putting into things and like where you're headed long term, lifting related, if I'm talking about it. So eventually, after that kind of initial period of like, okay, I want to get good at this so that they'll think this or so that I'll be whatever, there should be an evolution and kind of a little bit of a transformation in your thought process where you just kind of realize you like doing whatever that thing is, so it's a Goku versus Vegeta situation, right? Vegeta, dude, we all know the deal. Fuck, man, I gotta get stronger than Kakarot. And yeah, it works, but the guy's fucking, so kind of stressed out, like tense, and like just kind of what's the word I'm thinking of? Like insecure. Then you look at Goku, dude. His ass just wants to get fucking stronger purely for its own sake. And who's really stronger, right? So that's where it's like, you know, not that you need to think about this all the time. This isn't like a daily thought process that I'm always thinking about. But if the person that you're trying to impress or like satisfy in whatever you're doing can be you, you're on track for fucking success, I say. If it's anybody else, odds are over time you're gonna have some fucking mental issues you're gonna want to clear up or are gonna just nag at you and you don't really know the reason for it, right? Insert football dad coach and you didn't become like an NFL star or, any other situation like that, right? So it's a hard sell because especially if you're kind of younger, any sort of authoritarian figure has some power over you and you kind of do have to do what they say, but you don't have to feel like you need to accept their approval is kind of what I'm thinking there, which I feel like I'm kind of at that point. I know what I'm doing, I know what I want to do, and that's honestly the thick of it. Post-workout meal, dude, I was perturbed. It was either last night or 2 nights ago, I kind of forgot about it, but I roll up to Chipotle. I'm like, okay, I want to get something to eat right now and probably something to eat later. So I get 4 sets of soft tacos, right? Steak, cheese, rice, queso. Go home. I'm fucking happy. I got a bunch of Chipotle. Bite into the first taco. Undercooked rice. Bullshit. That really got to me. Come on, guys. Right, we've got a certain standard to uphold here, but that's probably not going to be the post-workout meal for today. Goddamn Chipotle leaving a crunchy taste in my mouth. So instead, let's just fucking do it at home. I should really just make that. Like I should just make like 2 pounds of cubed steak. Have that same kind of mozzarella. Just do it at home, right? Why am I fucking wasting money buying that kind of stuff? So, I think I'm leaning into a little more meal prep mindset right now. So, increased potential for a little bit of a meal prep series. And I'm not saying it's a massive potential, but increased. So, until then, fuck man, keep lifting, keep making your gains, and if you're not, then you've got to find the source of your issue. Right? If you're not growing, or if you're not, increasing your body weight on the scale month to month, or losing body fat month to month, then that should be setting off a fucking red beeping light and smoke alarm kind of sound in your mind, where that means there's a problem, and you need to find the fucking solution. Now, bulking up wise, 90% of the solutions to that, eat more food. I know it's simple, but it's easier said than done. Dieting down, same shit. Eat less food, same thing. Very easy to say, little bit trickier to implement. And then, as long as you're getting a reasonable amount of sleep and drinking your fucking however many liters a day you need of water, don't sweat it. Do not oh, actually, do sweat it. Right? Get fucking drenched into your pump cover during the lift, and then peel it off to reveal your 1,000,000-mile wide vein lat spread back in the fucking yoga room on the first floor of the gym. Take a picture and say, holy shit, pumped, hashtag gym rat, straight to the Instagram story. So that's my ender. So I'll see you at home. Or no, I'll see you, what am I saying? I'll see you tomorrow for legs.